it's Erin from Catawba Science Center. October is Cheers to Mr. Beerbower month. We are celebrating his 70th birthday and his 40th work anniversary at Catawba Science Center. To learn a little bit about beer, we have Bobby Bush from Hops and Grapes. He's going to do some beer tastings. You can learn along as well. Don't forget, you can support Bruce and the Science Center by purchasing a Science After Dark cup. Thanks.
Thank you, Erin. Now we're going to a trendy beer, trendy craft beer. IPA's India Pale Ale is so popular right now, and there's so many varieties. There's white IPAs, black IPAs, there's sour IPAs, there's fruited IPAs, there's hazy IPAs and juicy IPAs, and I thought of another one. Oh, I said hazy, but there's just so much variety. And the beer that started it all for American brewers, building on the English style of India Pale Ales, is now called the West Coast IPAs. And this beer was not brewed in the West Coast. It was brewed in Nashville by Burial Beer Company. They don't call themselves a brewing company. I'm not really sure why, but anyway, it comes in a 12-ounce can and in a keg if you want to get draft. 6.8% alcohol by volume. It has Centennial, Citra, Columbus, and Mosaic hops. All those hops have, and they don't tell you what percentage of each, and they go in at various times during the boil and after the boil. But this is a nice clear IPA that I could personally drink any time of night or day. Nice and golden, excuse my haze. I like to pour my beers hard to get rid of some of the extra carbonation. I have reflux, and that helps a lot by eliminating some of the CO2. It's going to come out anyway, one way or another. I better get a little more. But anyway, Bruce, it's called Surf Wax. I'll let you pour your own.
Thank you.
And it's just a nice, clean, citrusy IPA. Actually has a very cleansing finish to it. Leaves your mouth wanting more. The Centennial hops have been around a long time. They're Pacific Northwest, as are the Citra and Columbus. The Mosaic, I'm not sure what region of the country they come from. I've had some Mosaic hopped beers that the dominant hop is Mosaic, and it has kind of a tropical fruit pineapple-y taste, which I don't care for if they used it in the right amount. But that's the neat thing about beer. You don't really understand what these hops bring to the beer. You don't really need to understand how the beer is made. You just need to kind of come to a conclusion whether you like it or not. And then hopefully you can get some more. Let's have our taste. You talk first about the beer this time.
It's got a little bit of an aromatic, but not quite a fruity scent. Got a good head depending on how it's poured.
You're right.
And it is an amber yellow. It goes down smooth.
Very easy to drink. To me, it's one of those, if you've never tried it before, the first taste you're going to say, what do I have? And then it's going to grow on you, not because of the alcohol, but because of the flavor. 6.8%, unless you're less than 21, shouldn't be drinking, is not going to shock you. That's a typical, beers these days, craft beers are 5 to 7% at the low end of the range. I will, one little aside, it's important to me that you know what you're drinking. At my store, it's either on the can or the bottle if it's over 6%. If it's a draft beer, it's on the wall. There's some beers that are so high in alcohol and so expensive. Hops are expensive. Malted barley is expensive. But we limit each serving to 12 ounces. And we watch to see that you haven't had too much as well. Don't like to cut people off, but we do. But it's important that you know what you're consuming. If you're drinking right after work and you hadn't eaten since lunch, it can have an effect on you. So please take that caution to be smart enough to know what you're drinking. If it's time to cut yourself off, cut yourself off. But anyway, I enjoy this beer. It's readily available, it's year-round, not a seasonal, and that's of a benefit to it. I think it's got a lot of fans in my store. We go through probably as much as 2 cases a week, and I think I just bought a keg that'll go on next week. So, the next example of an IPA is from, of all places, Shelby, North Carolina. If you've been to Shelby, raise your hand. Anyway, it's not the exact place that you think would be the beer capital of the world. When I read about Newgrass, it's one word, little g, Newgrass Brewing Company in Shelby. It was founded in 2015. It's right on South Lafayette Street, downtown. A beautiful facility. They have food, a pretty expansive seating area, and their beers are just really good. They make some sours, they make some barrel-aged stouts, and some other beers. But the problem I have, if I have a complaint about Newgrass is, they hardly ever make the same beer twice. They've got to spend a fortune on labels. This is an aluminum can, silver can that they put a sticker on, and that's wonderful. But they make some really, really good beers, and but we just keep bringing them in, and that's kind of a trendy thing in the craft beer industry today. Is people come into my store, myself included, and I say, "What's new? What is just in hot on the shelf? Because I want to try it." And we quit selling about a 4-pack and 6-pack. You can buy individual cans or bottles if you want to, which actually makes it easier for you to try something. So this is called Forever On and On. It's a double dry hop, DDH, double dry hop IPA with, and I've never even heard of some of these hops, Kaku, Wakata, and Nelson Sauvin. I've heard of Nelson Sauvin, and it's one of those hops I talked about, like the Mosaic, that I'm not really crazy about. So I've never tasted this beer, whereas I'm an old friend of Surf Wax. So Bruce, again, I'd like for you, one of the things a lot of these North Carolina breweries now, there are some malting companies that basically take barley and spread it out over their floor, or there's some other ways to do it, and they toast the barley to various degrees of brownness or darkness, and that contributes to the flavor. So that's called malted barley. But this beer is made with local Pilsner malt, that's a style, in this case, not a beer, and local oats and wheat. I'll let you have at that one. As you can see, it's a little hazy. You certainly can't read the Wall Street Journal through that. And not a great comparison, but I don't think we need one. It's pretty obviously which one's clear. This would be called a New England IPA, a hazy IPA, or a juicy IPA. They're almost synonymous. I don't know. I've asked people that say there's a difference to define it for me, and they can't. Maybe I haven't asked the right people, but have you tasted it?
Not yet.
Go for it.
It's totally different from all the others. A little bit, not thicker, a little bit.
A little heavier in mouthfeel. Mouthfeel is part of that whole flavor profile.
Kind of a spicier taste.
That's got to be from the hops. Oats are usually added to thicken the mouthfeel and for head retention. They didn't say whether it was flaked oats or malted oats, but anyway, that's what they usually use for. Wheat, probably added for the same reason in a beer like this. And Pilsner is just a light-colored malt that would be used in quite a few beers, not just Pilsner. It's very likable. Let's say 7% alcohol compared to the Surf Wax at 6.8. Well,
It's got a little bit of a fruity taste in the background.
yeah, and that's probably also from one of the hops, and I don't remember the profile of the Nelson Sauvin hops, but it's probably that. I've had some beers from them. Very nice. Sometime, Bruce, when I have the opportunity, I'll blend them just for the heck of it. We may never see that Newgrass beer again, but it's going to thin it out a little bit from a mouthfeel standpoint. But you're adding now we have a total of 8 different hops in our combined blend. Aaron, I know you want to taste this.
Kind of mean, Bobby.
You're on the wrong side of the road. This is, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
We get a lot of big imperial stouts, barrel aged and whatnot in the store. And one of my bartenders, Randall, if you don't know Randall, you got to come in, you'll love him. He's a good blender. Yeah. He's a good blender. He will take a peanut butter stout and blend it with a chocolate vanilla stout, and you got a Reese's cup. It just he's pretty amazing. Any final words on these two IPAs? They're almost in different galaxies, but they're so good.
But when you put them together, it's like nothing I've ever tasted.
Yeah. No, and that's a neat thing. Now, if they'll ever make that forever on and on again, I've been fussing at them. Cheers.
Cheers.